Hi Nupur, welcome to the Noshortcuts Podcast. We're so glad to host you at the Scott India office today. Just to give you a brief introduction about the podcast. You know, we've always said that the No Shortcuts way is our way of life, but we've seen our athletes kind of live that, and also there are learnings that they can share with us that help us in our day-to-day life. So the agenda today is to know a little bit more about you, your journey, and things that have worked for you and help you in your day-to-day life. So welcome again, and I look forward to having a great conversation today.
Thank you so much. It's always fun to do something or a podcast or a shoot or something with Scott, so it's fun. Thank you so much.
Awesome to hear that. So, for the people who are listening in today, I want to do a quick introduction. You're a coach, you're an Ironman triathlete, you are a person who leads a fit way of life, and I think that's pretty evident through your social media handles, through your Instagram handles. That is today. But what is it that pushed you to go in this direction? What was the beginning? What was the trigger?
So, like I say, fitness is what I do for a living, but I'm a passionate, I'm a fitness trainer by profession and a triathlete and a runner by passion is what I usually like to put it. Honestly, I've always been in some or the other sport ever since I was growing up. Like my first ever, I've always played, you name it, I've played all the sports while growing up. I think at the age of 20, 21, when I was young, lack of maturity, I guess, I got frustrated at one point and I quit tennis. But after I stopped playing tennis, I was so hooked to being fit or being active. I started working out. Also, 2021 is the age where you want to have a good body, you want to impress girls in college. I've been through that phase, and that's how fitness, when it comes to aesthetics and body, began for me. I've always been in fitness, but the whole ball game of weight training, joining a gym, and all of that came to me. Came into my life, and I started working out. I was very bad at studies because I was always on the ground or on the tennis court or always in extracurricular. So I was very bad with my studies. So I don't think I had any hope when it comes to academics. But what I knew was that I'm extremely passionate about fitness and I want to do something in the field. And this is, I'm talking about 2001, 2002, when I just got out of my 10th standard and I was in my junior college. In fact, I remember the date. It was 3rd of September 2003 when I had joined the gym. I'd signed up and joined the gym for the first time.
So we're almost near the 20-year anniversary? Almost.
Yeah. We have just crossed.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just crossed. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's how when I was in my early first year BCom, the idea was to do something in the field of fitness. But how also back then not too many people were into working out as they are today, which is today it's a good thing that so many people are working out and so conscious about their fitness. But back then joining a gym was a new thing. And because of my sports background, I was relatively fit, and then working out like strength training only helped. So I got a decent structure, like a body frame, very early. And you are in that age when you are surrounded by your college friends who are always कि यार तू कर ना, तेरा कुछ हो जाएगा, तू देख ले, तू film में try कर, तू modeling try कर. It all happened, and I also got carried away somewhere, and that's when I figured that okay, modeling or something is modeling and filmmaking is something that I can give it a shot. And I got hooked to making films. So
from a tennis player to a gym
yeah,
to then transitioning to
filmmaking.
What
And
interesting.
it was very clear in my head that okay, I'll assist a few movies and then I'll eventually get one. You know how you've heard stories of these actors
success
doing,
stories.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. I got an opportunity to assist for a Marathi film.
And which was that?
I
If you
would
don't
not
mind
like
us
to
asking.
name the film because it didn't turn out to be that great. If the director knows and he's watching it, he's gonna hate me. But yeah, 4 5 days or 1 week into the shoot, when the actual film work started, like first week in the shoot, I realized this is not my cup of tea because it looks all sugar coated and looks all glamorous, but there's a lot of hard work that goes in it for anybody who is a part of any project. I'm not saying only on screen, but so that was a realization, and very early I decided, okay, I'm struggling to find my time for my workouts, for my discipline, because working out is something that I never missed right from 3rd September 2003 till date. I like working out. It's not for any specific reason. It's just that it's a discipline that I like to follow. So very early in that film schedule, I realized this is something that I cannot do. This is something that I don't want to do. If I cannot work out, if I cannot maintain my lifestyle, I don't want to do this. So that was a call. I took it on the set. I finished that film. I did my responsibilities. I came back, and after the film was done, after my job was done, I put my papers down. I went to a gym where I used to work out. The 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 manager there was a very close friend. He still is a very close friend of mine. He had always known about my fitness journey, and he has seen me work out and my passion. I had also done my basic fitness certification because when I started working out, I also wanted to understand the whole process more technically, more scientifically. That's why I got my certification done. So I was a certified.
And when you say certification, what was that body or university that was certifying at that point in time? Because I'm assuming this is 2003, 2005.
Yeah, this
period.
was exactly 2003, 2004, that same year. So back then, I come from Pune. I was born and brought up in Pune. I spent 19 years of my life in Pune. Back then in Pune, like today, there are so many organizations or bodies, or even some of the international universities that offer certification on various fields in fitness, not only a particular type of training, right? But back in the day, there were in Pune, especially, there were only two. There was one Symbiosis College. We used to offer the.
Which I think everybody knows about. I mean,
Yeah.
For people who don't know, I think Symbiosis and Pune are almost like said in the same breath. That's the first thing that you identify with Pune.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're big. Back then there was only one Symbiosis school and one Symbiosis college. Now there are multiple. So they had started their certification. That was one, and the second one, and the more popular one, and I would like to consider them as the pioneer of gymming culture in India, was Talwalkars. So obviously I went to Talwalkars and I got my basic certification there, and then after that till today, it's always you upgrade yourself and get to know something new. You go and get your certification done and stuff like that. So that was my first ever certification.
I just want to kind of go back to the tennis journey a little bit. You said you started off when you were 6 years old.
Yeah.
And then you quit tennis at 20?
At
19, 20. That's 13 years. And you were very clear that you wanted to represent the country, win medals, and be the best in that sport. I am sure when you decided to move away from it, it would have been a tough call, because something that was a part of your life for 13 years, to suddenly just kind of pivot and change onto a different. So how did you kind of manage that transition, and what were the reasons for you to kind of just say, okay, this is not for me?
So honestly, it's not like I was not a hard-working tennis player. It's not like I was not giving it all. I was, but somewhere I feel now when I look back, I feel that I was not crafted for it, and it's a hard truth, but it is what it is. Maybe I could have done things differently, I don't know. I did everything that I could back in the day, but that did not work for me, and that's why tennis is a very competitive sport. Actually, that's a little unfair. Every sport is very competitive. When you enter the field, you realize, oh, यहाँ पे तो बहुत लोग हैं.
Exactly.
So every sport is very competitive, and somewhere when it comes to the Maharashtra ranking or India ranking, I was not leading the charts, and that was the truth, and that was somewhere very frustrating, and it's a very expensive sport. So at one point when you're at that age, 19, 20, I was a little frustrated, a little angry with myself and with the situation and everything, I don't know. So that was a very big impact, and that made me think that, okay, maybe I'm probably not good enough. And I'm saying this very casually right now, but back then it was very hard.
No, I'm amazed at your honesty, because in the past when we've met athletes, some athletes, invariably when we ask them this question that why did this not work out, the answer usually is circumstances, environment. You are one of the very few who've said, look, I wasn't good enough, and and that's great, because at the end of the day that is also acknowledgement, and that allows us to kind of move to the next direction. I have this amazing memory from my time when we were riding up in the Swiss Alps with Nino Shooter's coach.
Oh.
Okay, and he had just won the silver back then, and somebody asked him that why is it that Nino won the silver, and what is it that went wrong, and why is it that he couldn't win the gold medal at the Olympics that year? And he said, he just turned around and he said, he wasn't good enough. That's it. I mean, there was no other logic or reasoning or some big story as to why he won the silver and not the gold. And the next 2 years he went and won the gold. I mean, but that's motivation. That's being honest with yourself. Taking a honest view of things, I think, goes a long way when it comes to sports or just life in general as well.
No, absolutely. I mean, see, it's not, sometimes it's mistaken for being too harsh on yourself, but it's not. There is a very fine line between being too harsh on yourself and being realistic about the situation. Like you said, I'm not saying that when people say the circumstances were not in line with what they were doing, I'm not saying people are lying when they're saying that. I'm sure it is, but it's tough for everybody. Maybe not in a particular way, but in some other way. It's always going to be like that. And we've heard so many success stories, especially now that we are seeing so many Indians at the Olympics. You see, pick up any person and see his or her success story. They all come from a background where they don't have the best facilities, they don't have the best infrastructure or even support for that matter, but you still see them go and perform and get medals. So it's very important for you to be real, and like you said, only when you're real and realistic approach will help you move in the right direction, maybe in the same field, or say, okay, this is not for me, I'll do something else. And the problem is that we all look at failure in a way, arey allowed nahi hai, you can't fail. I mean, that's how we're conditioned from our childhood, right? Like failing is bad, but it's not. You don't have to be, I feel you don't have to be successful all the time. It's completely okay, as long as you enjoy the journey. If I hadn't taken that call back in the day, who knows what would have happened. Maybe one way is that, okay, I would have still done something and made it big, but I know that the chances were very poor.
Slim.
Yeah. but I moved on. I picked up something else, and today I'm happy. Like my perspective. That's why when it's been 10 years since I've started doing triathlons, and I'm totally enjoying it. Again, I'm not the best triathlete out there, but I love every aspect of a triathlon, right from a planning a race to going to a new destination, having that discipline throughout the year of swim, bike, run, workout. A very consistent journey it has been, and I know that this is a long term thing for me. I'm more content today as compared to probably as compared to if I would have continued being a
Playing
tennis
tennis,
player.
yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
but that's amazing. You see, your passion is what got you through those 13 years
Yeah.
where you were at it.
Yeah.
And you said that's the goal that I've set myself and I'm going to do it. There was a time where you came and you said, hang on, this is not for me. But I think it's that same passion which is prevalent even today, because
Absolutely.
if you were doing triathlons for the last 10 years and you've been at various events, I'm sure some have been successful, some have not been successful. But it's that passion that kind of drives you through almost on a daily basis.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've had bad races, and when I say bad, like I've really struggled in the race. In fact, my first ever race was a disaster. I had 2 punctures on the first ever race. I was riding a road bike for the first time ever.
Okay.
And that too straight in a race, and I had no idea. I watched a few videos of how to remove a puncture or how to fix a puncture. Clearly
And when was
watching.
this? When was this?
This was my first ever race, 2013 half Ironman Taiwan I did. That was my first ever triathlon. And I had 2 punctures, so it was a disaster. If that 19-year-old kid who quit tennis was there on that day, he would have quit triathlons also. But that didn't happen. Like the whole today again, it's a great story for me to tell. Arey, kya maza aaya tha. I went through all of that. I still managed to finish it, but that 48 minutes that I was on the road struggling for a pump and get a puncture fixed and everything, that was very bad. But today it's okay. It's prepared me for a better race in the future. Like one of the races, I didn't get my visa. It was a marathon. I was going for Berlin Marathon. My visa did not come through. I ran on the same day, same morning here in Mumbai, because the idea was to go out and run.
And you did a marathon here in
I
Mumbai.
ran a marathon distance here. 2 of my friends were there to support me. I was supposed to run on 29 September 2019. I'm very good with dates.
I was just about to say, I think your memories with dates is absolutely spot on.
So I was supposed to run in Berlin. That didn't happen. So on 29 September 2019 at 6 a.m. I ran here in Mumbai. So the idea is to go out and do what you need to do.
But you see, so many of us, I mean, look at things when they don't work out for us as a step back, and we tend to kind of go into our shells and blame things or figure out or give excuses almost to justify why it happened.
Yeah.
This is such an amazing story. Your visa did not come through. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to run the same day.
Yeah.
And going to complete a marathon. This is brilliant to hear. And I think, I know a lot of people who are hearing in cannot see what's on the other side of the cameras, but we have these bunch of interns and young kids. I think it's a brilliant lesson for them. When I see so many kids nowadays, when they start off a sport or something, that frustration to throw things and just walk away from it is like almost like a gift and a right that they are supposed to do it. But at that point in time, if they kind of just take a step back, evaluate what are the things that did not work, and again go back at it, it's such a brilliant learning. So I think guys, this is brilliant for you to just listen into him and his story of how he handled a thing that did not go his way and converted that into a positive.
I mean, coming back to throwing things you said, I remember, so my tennis coach, her name is Rohini Lokhande, and she was India number 4 in her days. She played Davis.
She's from Pune.
She's from Pune. She played Davis Cup and all of that. So she was one of those hardcore coaches that you will have, right? Who will say things very bluntly, very openly. A lot of things have changed today. Everything has become very soft, and there's no problem in that. It's just that you learn harder way. So when I joined tennis, again, my fascination for tennis, just like my fascination for cycling, is that I liked tennis rackets. That's why I wanted to learn tennis. I like bikes.
And that's why
I want to cycle. So probably I need to think about my reasoning for doing things. But I like tennis racket. That's why I joined tennis. And my thing was, again, tennis rackets were expensive. This is again 1996, 97. So tennis rackets are expensive. And when I joined tennis, for first 6 to 8 months, if I'm not wrong, 5 to 6 months for sure, my coach didn't let me buy a tennis racket. I used to go to the storeroom, pick up whichever
racket was available.
Yeah, second-hand rackets were there. Whichever racket was available, I used to pick it up, come and play tennis. I mean, do my class and go back for good 5 to 6 months. After that, I remember she had found a racket that would suit me. It was a second-hand racket, and she asked me, my mom rather, to get me that racket. So I used that for another 6 months. Only when I participated for my first ever tournament was when she allowed me to, and literally allowed me to buy a new racket. And back then it was not like, okay, coach ne na bola hai to no. It is as simple as that.
But don't you value that experience?
Yeah.
Because I mean, something
Absolutely.
that you loved, and that's what got you into the sport. You never could get your hands on it, but you got your hands on it the day you went for your first tournament.
Yeah, I mean, just before my tournament, when I signed up, she said, okay, you need your own racket now. You need to. So just maybe a couple of months before the tournament, I got my first ever racket. And speaking of throwing things, I had seen Marat.
Did you break that?
No, I did. I didn't break. She would kill me. I had seen Marat Safin. Marat Safin was one of the Russian tennis players. Yeah, back in the day, and he was known for his anger. And I found it very cool. So one of the days, while practicing, nothing has happened. I'm in a practice. I'm not in playing a match or nothing. Or even if I am, it's something local. In the practice, I have just, something happened and I have flung my racket into the net. Not like I've thrown it somewhere else. Being very careful, it will go, and usually when you
your first impact is on the net.
When you throw your racket in the net, now it doesn't, like
doesn't
it doesn't
scratch, it doesn't break.
Just, sometimes it just gets stuck in the net and doesn't fall on the ground. So I did that. My bad luck, we used to call her Rohini Tai. Rohini Tai was around. She just called me on the side. And then she has fired me. I can't even say what all she has said to me. She has fired me and obviously made me go and run for 45 minutes. Yeah, go and run for 45 minutes. Everybody's training and I am running for 45 minutes. And she's fired me. And she said things like, whatever you're doing right now, it's not, you've not bought this. It's your parents' money. So be very careful of what you do, how you do it. And you've not lost a point at a Wimbledon. I remember. Beyond this, I can't tell you.
No, so from our perspective, when we look at athletes, very few athletes actually take care of the equipment in the manner that they're supposed to. And we've seen throughout your journey that you're very particular about how you maintain your bike. We've seen videos of you actually doing things yourself, making basic repairs by yourself. Look, I think, we are, the athlete actually drives everything. That's what we believe as a brand. You can do only as much as providing an athlete with the best equipment possible, but what he delivers is entirely driven by him. The only thing which we always tell our athletes and our brand ambassadors is that, guys, just take care of your equipment, because if you take care of it, it's going to take care of you
100%.
at the race.
100%.
So many times we hear about people having a mechanical or a failure. Yeah, sometimes it's unavoidable, but many a times when we actually go ahead and see what was the reasons, we just see that it wasn't in top shape for a race.
Yeah.
And I think, your story about the tennis racket or even the bicycle that you take care of, I think just points to that fact that when you are doing something, it could be a sport, it could be a skill, it could be a talent that you pursue. You could be a musician, but you need to take care of the tools that actually help you deliver and deliver it with some amount of success.
Yeah, and especially for the bike, because I've not done bike races, but it's the same concept, I'm sure. For triathlon, for your swim and your run, it's fine, it's only you. But for the bike, which is again major chunk of your race, you and your equipment is one. So you can't fail on the bike and the bike cannot fail on you.
Absolutely.
So it's as good as taking care of yourself, right? If there's a small IT band is tight, you go to your physio and get it released, right? If there's certain ache or pain, you will work on it. If there's a certain, you'll work strength wise, flexibility wise, you'll maintain yourself. The same thing with the bike. And also, again, because of my first experience, I realized I need to know my bike. I need to know my bike like I know my body. So,
It's part of you.
Yeah. So you have to do. And again, look at it, it's so beautiful. How can you not take care of it?
No, we're noting this point down. Then it's actually the equipments that got you interested in the sports that you basically chosen. So one of the challenges that our team now has is to ensure that your equipment's always attractive and is something that keeps you there. Because I don't want you to see a Formula 1 car tomorrow and say, I'm going to do. We want you to be in triathlons and...
I don't like driving.
Okay, awesome.
I love cycling.
But is it a Bombay thing that you don't like driving?
No.
Or is it just a...
It's just a thing. I don't enjoy being idle in one place for too long. I like cycling. I used to like motorbikes at one point, but again, it's something about cycle that I'm extremely fascinated about, and not now. I remember last time when we were talking, I know all my cycles that I've ever owned till the RC.
Oh, that's brilliant. At some point in time after this conversation, if you could just put these things down on a piece of paper, it makes for such a wonderful journey. Maybe we'll use it at the edit table at some point in time with that. Because that I think is so brilliant, because that just shows the kind of commitment that you have to your sport, because you're very particular about your dates, you're particular about what you've had. So, I mean, there is a sense of importance in all these aspects of your day-to-day life that you are very sure of, that, I'm going to do it in this discipline. And I think it also boils down to just general discipline.
Yeah.
Like you said that you like working out on a daily basis. You don't do it because of any external motivator. You're doing it for yourself. You are following a triathlon because that's what you enjoy doing. And I think let's focus on that, because many a times in corporate lives as well, we are always on the rat race where we are kind of focusing on what's that next big jump. How am I going to get my next big salary? But I keep telling everybody, and this is something that has always worked for me, I don't want to do anything that I don't enjoy.
100%.
Okay, every day, if there's motivation to get up and come to office and to deliver your best, you can only do that if you enjoy what you are doing.
100%.
There was a time in my life where I kind of changed a job just because of the money. I couldn't survive there for more than 6 months. I had to exit because I wasn't good at it. When I look back at it and I said, hang on, this is not for me. This is not what I'm cut out for. And I think, when I meet athletes, when I meet different people, these are some common threads that are there throughout.
Yeah.
Do what you enjoy. Only then the success kind of follows naturally.
100%, 100%. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, for me, it when a hobby becomes your passion, if it becomes too much of work for you, then you somewhere that passion also dies out of it. And that was a learning I have had at multiple projects that I had taken up. I had taken up these projects out of passion. They were related to my field, but it was too much. So somewhere you find your balance. Same thing with triathlons. I don't get into numbers. I am not always.
Do you set a time target for yourself at every race, or?
I do. However, for this race, I don't have any target. This is more like a family vacation for all of us. There's too many people
Accompanying you and cheering.
Yeah. And for the first time, it's happening that I have so many people coming with me. So we are looking at I'm prepared for a race. I know I'm going to have a good race. Am I going to beat my best timing? No, I don't think so. But again, if things fall in place and if I'm having a good day that day, who knows? But I'm going to be very close to my personal best. That's what I know. Again, my personal best is not something that, I mean, there are so many of them who are much better than where I am. But again, for now, we'll see what happens after 20 years, because I know I'm going to keep racing.
I wish you the best, but I think after having this conversation with you, if I was a betting man, my money is on the fact that this race might probably be your best race.
I mean,
because you see, there's just so much happening which is positive. You are in a positive mind space. You're looking forward to the family actually being with you. So I guess the stress or the pressure of performance actually in a way is
but
disappeared.
I mean, Usain Bolt had said this, right? Like the 9.5 seconds that I 9.58 to be specific, that I ran was the easiest part. The toughest part was prepping for it. And there's one thing I realized since that Berlin incidents was that, hang on, you have what it requires to go there and do what you need to do because you've trained for it. Now, if things fall in place, if things work out or they don't, or whatever happens, that's not in your control. Your job is to go and do what you need to do. So you have it in you. And you can only have it in you if you are, like you said, if you are genuine to it, you are true to the task that you have taken. In this case, it's triathlons. So this is not, or even fitness in general, is not a race to race commitment for me. It's a year-long commitment. There's so many times I don't like to do these intense rides only for numbers or only for Strava. I like going on cycle treks that we did in 2021. I like to even a small marine drive ride and back, go to some bakery, have
a cup of coffee or
eat and come back. I like to mix it up. I like to do these things along with the hard, intense trainings because you want to enjoy the process. And at the end of the day, more saddle time you have on you will eventually improve your overall bike time in your race. More fitness you have on you will eventually show the strength or how prepared you are in the race. So I'm not looking at it at this at this race. I'm saying from 10 years from now on. Like it's already been 10 years. I'm already a better athlete than what I was. In next 10 years or 15 years from now on, I'll be in a place where this will be like a regular thing for me, and I'm looking forward to that day.
So this is a journey, and that's the process that you're kind of enjoying currently, where you're saying that eventual goal is to do this as a normal.
Yeah, it's a normal thing for me to just get up and go for a race every single year. I've managed to do that. I hope I manage to do that for next 10 years. COVID happened, we all suffered, racing suffered, but we are back on track. So that's what I'm saying. This is a normal part of my life now, and I want to keep it like that.
No, that's amazing to hear, because when you look at it from that perspective, it makes it look and sound so easy. I'm sure it isn't. There's a lot of discipline, but just your approach towards addressing your day-to-day life, I think it's just one of ease, comfort, and enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of effort, to be in the shape that you need to be on a day-on-day basis, to keep training yourself, to keep motivated throughout. There are times where, especially in the Bombay rains, one would think, I don't want to go ahead and ride, I don't want to go ahead and run. But just to get up and put that 60 minutes of effort is just so important.
No, but it's about the choices that you make, right? And we all are, for lack of words, we are all slaves to our habits. So, there are those days when I'm just lying down on my sofa watching TV. I love to waste my time. I really love to waste my time. And I'm on a day when I'm not working. Also, my work is such that I'm training people. So, I see people struggle while they're working out. So, then you are responsible for it also. Like if you're telling someone to do all of this, then you should be in a place where you can do better, or at least match the fitness. So,
practice what you preach.
Yeah. Or rather preach first and then practice. So that is one thing. So that will always, at least for me, that keeps me on my toes. Like, आज मैंने 4 लोगों को train किया है. So it's my responsibility to go in and put in some workout. If not on a bad day, if not the best workout, I'll go and do something, because I have trained 4 people. They have done what I have asked them to do. So I cannot just sit and lie down and be like, हाँ मेरा काम हो गया. You need to put in work also.
So how do you feel when you train, and you train a lot of people, you train some very famous people and you train normal people as well. How do you feel when they don't actually follow what you set out to do? I mean, what's your first reaction in such situations?
It has honestly, I've always had really good people to work with. Not only fitness, but I'm always surrounded by nice people. That's one thing that I'm lucky in a way, that my friends, my family, people who I work with, I'm always surrounded by nice people. You guys, because you guys are giving me stuff. So it has never happened that people have not followed a particular routine. But having said that, there are days and then there are days. So it's more like a rapport that we understand each other with individually with my clients. We understand that, okay, maybe today is not the day for me to push him or her. It's okay. There are days when I will give a workout and they'll perform better, and they would want to increase the workout. So that also happens. But again, what I was saying earlier also, that on a bad day when I also don't feel like working out, and it's fine, it happens to all of us, you need to sit back and look at the bigger picture. In a year, out of 365 days, if I've had, say, even 50 of the bad days, I've still managed 315 of good days, right? So that's what I'm saying. Your life philosophy for me is like Rahul Dravid. I'll not go out and just score. I'll hold my wicket and I'll just keep I'll hold my wicket. I'll take you to the finish. That's the idea. And when you, in certain cases, you need to then sit back and look at the bigger picture. What has happened? Okay, I have not been good here, but all these were good, so I'm good. I think that works for all of us. Again, the problem is that the pressure of performing. You are also, in fact, yesterday I was thinking about this and I was writing about this, that my friends are putting in so much, they're putting all the long runs and the long rides, and I'm just consistently putting the short workouts, because right now, because of my work schedule or whatever, I'm not been able to go out and give a longer workout. Because so close to the race, usually we put in, weekends are 6 and 8 hours long. You put in a long bike ride, and I've not managed to do that for good 1.5 2 months now, and I'm getting little insecure because everybody's performing, but at the same time I'm confident, so I don't need to follow everybody blindly. So I think that's where we humans get carried away by what's happening around us. Yeah, peer pressure. What's happening around us, whatever people are doing, we also need to do it.
So I think focus on the process, focus on yourself, what you are good at. I think that's your mantra when it comes to races or just life in general.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would like to believe is my mantra. We'll only know at the end of the life ki acha tha, bura tha, I don't know.
You know, hindsight is always great concept, but it's hindsight at the end of the day.
Yeah. I failed my 12th. I failed my TY BCom. And I realized कुछ फर्क पड़ा नहीं life में. So even when you fail,
the kids here are suddenly going.
It's not for you. I was passionate about other things in my life. That doesn't mean you should definitely have your basic qualification just to bank on something if nothing works in life. That's true, which is something my father used to say, and that's the truth. For me, it didn't come to that point where I had to fall back on education. Not that I had any. So that was my realization that, okay, failure is not such a bad thing as we've been taught. Did I waste my year? Yes. Did I waste my time? Yes. What I did in that, like I said, my first certification, I did it when I failed my 12th standard. I had some time on me. So instead of wasting that year completely, I picked up something else, which was doing my certification in my fitness. So that made me realize that failure is not a very bad thing. It's okay. Quitting tennis bothered me more later in my life than failing at my exams. Two completely different things, and two completely different, they held a very different place for me in my life. Tennis was much more there. In the process, what I realized that I miss tennis more than being successful at tennis. Like, I really missed the idea of being disciplined, going to the tennis court, practicing tennis, having that as a skill. So even earlier when we were talking about racket sport, today I play recreationally and I really enjoy them. That I miss. So for me, I don't want that to happen to my triathlons or even life in general. I don't want to get so lost in winning or being the best or achieving such a bigger goal that I completely forget to enjoy the journey. That's why for me, success is more about the journey for me. And this is my and enjoying it. Obviously, if you're enjoying your journey, I think for me that is good enough for now.
And you mentioned two interesting things which are relatively new in India: capoeira and calisthenics. I mean, for people who don't know, capoeira is a Brazilian martial arts form which, and it's played to the drum beats.
It has live instruments. There are this set of instruments. It's live music. You sing. It looks like dance, but it is a martial art. So
and calisthenics as well. I mean, it's still a relatively new thing, but both are, I wouldn't say similar. They're not same, but they're similar, right? It's about body movements.
In a way, it's about you and your body. So again, in calisthenics or in capoeira, there are different kinds or there are different styles of doing it. But eventually it all boils down to what you do with your body. So it's performing skills, different skills in both in calisthenics and in capoeira. It's performing skills with your body. So somewhere for me, it all falls in movement. So I like body movements. I like to explore new things that one can do with his or her own body. That's what excites me to learn these things, and that's why I got hooked to capoeira and calisthenics. Yeah, so it's new, but again, like every other community, it looks new from outside. Once you enter, you realize there's so many of them. There's so many of them who are so good at it, and there are people representing India at international platforms in calisthenics, and not only representing, they're going out there and winning. I mean, all the things that you would see on YouTube, people do it. There are people in these Malad and Bandra and all these, even in Pune, calisthenic parks where these young boys and girls are performing all these skills. So it looks new from outside, but once you enter, you realize there's so many of them.
No, it's similar to cycling. You see,
Yeah.
when we are in cycling, we
Yeah.
know so many of
Yeah.
them are actually riding. But from the outside, it's a bunch of people who are wearing
Yeah.
helmets and kit. They are a minority.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
actually,
no,
when you
it's not.
are within the sport, you realize that there is a ton of
So
people
many
who,
of them,
who
so
do
many
this,
of them,
right?
yeah.
I mean, so I hear you where you're coming from when it comes to calisthenics or capoeira.
Yeah.
But you know, just for me, when we look at sports now, there are so many things that you are doing. You're training people, you're training yourself, cycling, running, swimming, capoeira, calisthenics. We were talking about pickleball.
Yeah, it's a new hobby.
During the break. How is it that you kind of balance all these activities throughout your week, or let's say throughout the month? I mean, because you know, so many times when we look at things, it's almost counterintuitive to do two activities together. So how do you balance that?
Again, like I said, this is a long-term thing for me. Racing is, or triathlon is not a race to race commitment. It's not like a seasonal thing where, okay, now I'll just do triathlons. Same thing with any other discipline that you mentioned. It's in bigger picture, I like to maintain a decent balance between these things, which means once or twice in a week I'll go and practice capoeira, I'll go and practice calisthenics. When it comes to triathlon, it itself has 3 things in it.
Correct.
So over a period of week, I'll on a non-season time, like right now I'm too close to the race, so all my focus is on triathlons right now. So I'm doing more of triathlon trainings. But on after the race, throughout the year, I'll make sure that in a week I'll end up doing at least 2 or 3 runs, or 2 or 3 bike rides. I'll not lie, 2 bike rides at least. I'll go on and off, I'll go for a swim. So that's one thing that goes year long when it comes to triathlon. But other disciplines that you mentioned, I like to do twice in a week. I'll pick up one discipline and I'll go and do it. Again, it's more, and they all fall under my workout. So there is no specific workout routine for me. I'll go and play pickleball, or I'll go and work out. So I divide my week accordingly. So once or twice in a week, I make sure that I practice each and every so-called discipline out of it.
No, that's amazing. And what's next for you? I mean, what is it that when you look at the next 2 to 3 year horizon, what are those tick marks that you want for yourself in terms of maybe new skills or sports, or just
skills I have. I have a lot of skills that I want to learn, and there's one skill that I have been trying, and I can't say I'm trying because I know I'm not giving it all that it requires, is to do a few handstand variation. So one hand handstand is something that I want to learn when it comes to skill. There are few calisthenic skills that I want to learn, and I'm very close to it, and I know it'll happen. Yeah, it's just a matter of I'll get done with this race and then start practicing those skills, and that'll happen. But as far as like a big goal is concerned, there is not any, to be very honest. I really like how the life is going. I really want the same life for at least till something else clicks. I like the way my work is going. I'm very happy with the amount of clients I have, the amount of training I give, the income that I'm earning right now. It's in a very comfortable zone. I'm happy with the balance that I've found with my sport and with my discipline. I'm happy that I'm back to one race a year, one international race a year that happens, and a few local races that happen through the year. I'm happy how this has spread out. I'm happy in the personal life, getting married soon.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So that's happening. So in a good space. Like I said, for me, this is success, and I really want this to sail as smoothly as it's right now.
That's amazing. And what do you do during your downtime? I mean, when you don't have to do anything, what's your go-to activity during your downtime?
Like, that depends on what kind of a downtime I'm having, right? I mean, it's just like emotional exhaustion. I'm okay. Then I like going for a bike ride. I like being with myself on such time. So that can be running, that can be bike ride. If there's a little aggression, then I like to do some weight training where I'm channelizing that.
You do realize for a lot of people this is not downtime. Their definition of downtime, unfortunately, is watching a television screen or going for a movie. But it's amazing to hear this.
That's what I'm saying. Depends on what kind of a downtime I'm having. It's like physically and emotionally down. Then one thing that I have picked up, I can't say I've picked up now, but it's been there for a while, is that I listen to some music and I'll make coffee. I like grinding my coffee. I like making the process of coffee. I like doing that. Somewhere that calms me down. So yeah, that's one thing. And sometimes I just, like I said, I just like to waste my time. I'm watching something on YouTube or some random series on TV and just lying down. That's also fine. So it completely depends on what kind of downtime we are talking about.
From the outside, everybody thinks that trainers or people who lead a really active lifestyle are at it 24/7. They sleep. So, I mean, I just wanted to hear this from you, just to break that myth a little bit. That at the end of the day, we all human beings who enjoy what we do, and there are times where we don't get up having the same motivation to do the same.
And it's okay. It's okay. It's completely okay. There are times. I say this jokingly, like I'm very active. I consider myself as one of the a very active person, a very active person that I know. But on a day when I'm not active, or on a day when I don't want to do anything, कोई भी आके मेरी उंगली भी हिला के दिखाए, मैं नहीं हिलेगा. It's that.
We'll know this, and I say this very lightly. We'll know this once you get married. Then we'll see only, how are you preparing for that?
I mean, like I said, everything I look at a bigger perspective. So, this whole, there's a myth around everything, right? Like, and when it comes to fitness, yes, it is that. And that's one of the problems. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted because, not distracted, I'm getting a little diverted with the topic because that's one of my problems, especially with the social media. This whole motivational speaker thing that happens on social media, it really bothers me personally, my opinion, because or anything for that matter, anything that that's influencing you. And the term influencer is so wrong, I feel sometimes. It shouldn't be influencing with your mind to begin with. I don't know if I'm putting this in the right way, but this whole motivational marketing, so to call, कि if I can do it, you can do this too. वगैरह नहीं करना है यार, मेरे को नहीं
You're
करना
referring to
है.
those aggressive guys in your face who
Yeah,
have these mantras
all the time.
through
Yeah,
it.
and they'll only show all the good things and the good days and the good body shapes and the good clothes and everything in front of the social media. That's not the real life. The real life is what you and I and everybody here are living. So again, acceptance. Accept it. You can't move anywhere if you don't accept it. So yeah.
Nupur, it's been amazing having this conversation. There were so many learnings, and I think the team here, the kids here, they've enjoyed listening to you. I hope our listeners enjoy this as well on the No Shortcuts podcast. But before we go, one last message that you would like to give. It's like the No Shortcuts philosophy, which you follow and has worked for you, if you would like to share.
I mean, I keep saying this. It's also on my Insta bio. It's a mix of English and Marathi. So I'll say it as it is, and then I'll explain it. So I keep saying that be humble, neither progress thamble. which means stay humble. Otherwise, your progress will also stop along the process. So that's one thing that I genuinely follow. Be humble, neither progress thamble.
It was talking to you. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. There was a lot of learning for me as well. I'm going to keep this in my written list as well, which I like to keep. Be humble, neither progress thamble. On that note, thank you for your time and wish you the best for your next race and wish you the best for the new journey that you're about to begin in your life.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Scott Sports India. Keep exploring the trails of adventure and subscribe to the No Shortcuts podcast for enriching and exciting content. Until next time, keep the wheels spinning.